Hi, everybody. It's Alex Jarett with another Spotlight interview, and I'm really happy to introduce you to my new friend, Phil Smith. Hi, Phil. How are you?
I'm fine, Alex. How are you today?
I'm doing well. It's so great to meet you and to talk with you. My gosh, you've had such a great career, and now you've got something exciting called Fractional Executive Advisors we're going to tell people about, right? Done it all, man. You've been a mentor at a group that helps founders. You've been a CEO at a big company called Rodian Group, COO. You've been a CIO at the
Wasserstrom.
Wasserstrom company, and previous to that, you were VP and GM, a huge division of AT&T. Man, you've done it all, huh?
Yes, a lot of things. It's been a great career. It's been a broad career with a lot of opportunities, and I've really enjoyed that. And now I'm really working towards fractional executive advisors, taking that series of experiences, being a leader, being a manager, growing people, and really trying to make that available as part of a fractional executive advisor business.
Uh-huh.
And so enjoy the opportunity to work with small and medium types of companies and helping them be successful.
That's great. So you're taking all the lessons that you've learned in all these different experiences. And I mean, let's face it, if they came to you and said, "Hey, Phil, you're the guy, we want you to help us full time." That's why you need a fractional model because chances are that it wouldn't work. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely right. You're absolutely correct. I think people, particularly small businesses in
Yeah.
particular,
Yeah.
that have a situation that could be business changing or make it better. They need some help to have that happen, and then they aren't going to be able to justify a full-time salary of a
Right.
COO, for example, right? That they just don't have the cash on hand, but they need the expertise to get to where they're going. And so you can do that on a fractional basis. Let's do it one day a week. Let's do it 2 days a week and really make it work.
Now, what are the different kinds of roles that you play? Because I was looking at your profile and also looking at your site. You have a various different roles in this fractional umbrella that you play. So what are those different roles?
Well, the kind of roles I do is I've been a COO running somebody's operation. I've been a CEO kind of holding a spot for the future CEO while that company looked for a CEO. I've been a CIO. I've even been a VP of sales and marketing for people.
What kinds of companies do you typically work with this fractional role?
Well, they're typically small and medium-sized businesses,
Yeah.
and they're typically in technology, manufacturing, mom and pop businesses as well, in terms of different mom and pop kinds of businesses, and uh, logistics and warehousing and food.
I'd love for you to tell us a couple of stories. Why don't we start with maybe a tech company because, Technology Executives Club. Tell us a story about how you've helped a technology related client.
Sure. Happy to. One of the clients is a data center hosting business.
Uh-huh.
They specialize in different types of hosting. But they're fast growing here in the central Ohio area where I live, and they really wanted to do some. They wanted to open up a new markets. They wanted to get into some new areas, and so not just simply data center hosting, but what else could they do to kind of expand their markets? And
Interesting.
so yeah, really very interesting problem. And so what we've looked at and what they have started to do now is really becoming much more of a security provider too, because along with data center hosting, things like backups for security, your data security, those kinds of things. So they're doing a lot of things with their customers now around things such as penetration testing, risk assessments for their customers,
Uh-huh.
because ultimately in that data center hosting business, if the customer doesn't have their cybersecurity environment set up correctly, it's going to fall back and impact a data center hosting implementation as well. And so it ends up being a very nice marriage. It allows my customer to extend their business with their customers and really kind of build a very strategic operation, not just simply, hey, your compute, but you can do computing, you can make sure that the backups are in place, you can make sure that disaster recovery programs are in place, and you're really cyber secure and ready for taking on cybersecurity issues.
That's a great story. And I know from your background, you've worked in a lot of different kind of technology spaces. So you're really well prepared for the tech space. Maybe you could share just a couple of stories about some of the other clients that you've worked with.
Sure. One is, for example, in the case of the CEO, a small business, family-owned business. The owner was really ready to retire, and the children really have no interest in actually being in that business.
That's a
and
challenge.
That happens a lot. That's a real challenge, right? So what do they do? I was brought in to kind of run the business, but probably more importantly, to actually interview the future owners of the business, right? Who could take this on? Because this particular customer, they wanted to sell the business eventually, since nobody in their family wanted to be in the business moving forward. So we worked with someone to kind of be the full-time CEO, and then eventually the owner of that business. They ended up buying that business from them.
That's great. That's a great story. So you really helped that family.
Absolutely. And it's happening a lot. There's a lot of people who really just aren't interested in being the next family member to run the business. And so that was really made a lot of sense. I think the second thing I've helped with as a story is really a business that is this particular business was in the home remodeling business, high-end home remodeling. And one of the things that they had an issue with was, that business, that remodeling business is pretty cyclical, right? So they have good years, bad years. And what their issue was is that when they were having a bad year, when they would then say, hey, I need some working capital. And they would want to go to a bank to get that working capital. Well, the bank didn't want to loan them the working capital because they looked like a construction business that is very cyclical. And they said, we're not going to loan you money. The owner would loan his business the money to do that. And so what they really wanted was a new way of looking at their business, and is there an ability to actually create a recurring revenue stream business that's somewhat adjacent to what they do, and use that as being a recurring subscription kind of model.
Oh, that's interesting.
Right. It was very interesting. So what I did is I went and basically said to them, listen, here are 12 different adjacent businesses that you could go into using your expertise in home remodeling. And we went through the different models. We honed it down into a couple, but what they ended up doing essentially was a home warranty repair business. So they think there's going to be a great opportunity for them to really grow that subscription type of business ongoing, and also resolve the problem that they have around cash flow and cash in cyclical markets for the traditional remodeling business that they own.
I mean, you really helped those people. That's great. That's a great story. This has been great. What are the scenarios where someone should reach out to you and say, I want to talk to Phil?
I think one is if they're missing a leader, right? There's a specific kind of role that they really need to have fulfilled, whether that be a COO or a chief marketing officer, that kind of thing. When they have a strategic person missing, and they need that skill set, but don't necessarily have the capital to pay for a full-time person, right?
Right. That makes sense.
So that's one example. I think the other examples that we see is when there is a specific problem, right? They've had an insurance problem, they have a financial problem, they can't get their arms around some money issue. Those are typical things that people come and find a guy like me to kind of help sort through some of that madness, if you will. And then finally, if you're at a point in time where you want to understand what your options are moving forward for your business, such as, do I want to sell? Do I want to to become part of a bigger operation? Do I want to purchase a business as well? Those are situations where I help a lot of customers understand where do they stand today, what's it going to take to be sold, or what's it going to take to purchase another business,
and
then help put them in touch with people who can help them make that sale or help them buy that business. I think a lot of the people I'm working with really want to find, they need proven leadership at a fractional cost. And I really think that's what they're getting from us is this expertise that they need and can do it in an affordable way.
Well, that's great. It's a great wrap up. And this has been Alex Jarett with another Spotlight interview with Phil Smith with Fractional Executive Advisors. Be sure and reach out to Phil. And Phil, thank you for your time today. It's been awesome.
Thank you, Alex. I appreciate the time.